to the Who Dat Nation. Welcome to the Dome Patrol Podcast, your podcast for the New Orleans Saints here on the KB Radio Network. I am your host, Kevin Reed, and week one is in the books. The NFL season has begun. Now we are in the thick of it. Now it's gotten real because the New Orleans Saints, for the sixth year in a row, this is the sixth consecutive season that the New Orleans Saints have come out victorious in week one, which is currently the longest streak in the NFL. Now, does that mean the Saints going to the Super Bowl? Well, it hasn't the past 5 years, but this is a good start. The New Orleans Saints took on the Carolina Panthers in the Caesars Superdome this afternoon, where the Saints come out victorious by the score of 47-10. And it wasn't that close. It really could have been. It could have been worse than that. This was a slaughter. And I said in the preview to this game that the Saints needed to come out and make a statement. I did not expect this. I did not expect this at all. But it's a good feeling because I haven't seen this team look this dominant on all three phases of the team in such a long time. And it was such a breath of fresh air to see this team come out and be as dominant as it was. I know that a lot of skeptics, a lot of NFL analysts, I can't wait to hear it all week, how, it was just the Panthers. They were supposed to do that. Now, yeah, they were supposed to win, but they weren't supposed to dominate like this. This was like, my God, this was men against boys, man. This was, I mean, it was a slaughter from the word go. Saints had 17 points in the first quarter. If that doesn't register to you, the Saints struggled to get 17 points in a game last year. And so that alone gave me hope. That alone had me on the edge of my seat like, man, is this the same team? Because this looked like a completely revamped, different team. This did not look like the Saints of the past two seasons. And look, it took a lot. It took a lot for me throughout this game to kind of temper my expectations because, once again, it's a long season. This is just the very first game of this season. And yes, it's against Carolina, who a lot of people have designated as the worst team in football. I understand all that, but those guys get paid too. Those guys got pride too. And let's not forget, let's start off right now before we jump into the statistics and break down this game in its totality. The Carolina Panthers defense last season, just going on last season, was one of the best defenses in the NFL. I believe they were the fourth ranked defense in the league. And so it wasn't like they were going up against Pop Warner kids here. You know, they were going up against an elite defense. The team just struggled offensively, and it rolled over to this year, unfortunately for them. But the defense, my goodness, this Saints offense under Clint Kubiak this season, I have a lot of hope for. I feel good going forward with this team. Why, you ask, is because of the run game. The way the Saints ran the ball against the Carolina Panthers is very inspiring. It gives me hope because it sets up so much in the way they ran and the different formations in which they ran the ball is just phenomenal. It feels good. Now, this isn't a new, innovative offense. We see this offense if you watch the San Francisco 49ers and the Rams to an extent, even the Bengals to a lesser degree. This is similar offense, but it's such a run-heavy offense, and the way they Clint Kubiak uses motion and throwing the ball out of play action, and it's Oh my God, it feels so good to watch this. I'm just praying, hoping, wishing, and praying that this rolls over to the entire season and this just wasn't a first game fluke. The New Orleans Saints rolled to a 47-10 victory in their season opener against the Carolina Panthers. But this win also marks a coming out party in the sense for the new offense under the first year coordinator Clint Kubiak. The Saints scored on their first, not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, but first 9 possessions. Let that sink in, people. The first 9 times they had the ball, the Saints scored 5 touchdowns and 4 field goals. Come on, man. You can't buy better production from a team while displaying an excellent balance. That's the other key. It was perfectly balanced. It wasn't throw happy. It wasn't run happy. It was perfectly balanced, and it's a much improved rushing attack under this offense. The 47 points is the most the Saints have scored in a season opener. The consecutive drives with a scoring streak appears to be the longest since the year 2000, since we have scored on 9 straight possessions. In this running attack, we saw different facets. I mean, we saw Alvin Kamara, fit into this offense like a glove. He looked excellent. Taysom Hill, using him properly. And, I'm getting tired of saying this. I'm getting tired of saying, man, you can use Taysom Hill so many ways. I'm tired of hearing that because it's the truth. I mean, it's a no-brainer. Of course, Taysom Hill does everything. He can do anything you ask him to do on the field. And this new way of using him, this is a new way, believe it or not, and it's working excellently. Also, Jamal Williams had a pretty good outing this game. He equaled his touchdown total that he had last season in the first week of this season. So that's a good start. But the real standout today was Rashid Shaheed, which is a perfect segue into our statistics here. Let's break down the statistics of the game, beginning individually. Let's start with passing, beginning with the Carolina Panthers. And let me say this, Bryce Young, throughout the game, I actually, honest to God, I felt bad for Bryce Young. I felt so bad for that dude because the Carolina Panthers have not built a team around this guy at all. They have not helped him. Is Bryce Young in this nice crop of young quarterbacks that we see, the CJ Strouds, the Caleb Williams, the Anthony Richards, and all these other. Is he in that? No, I think he can be, though. I think he can if he's given the opportunity. And he's not. And I mean, this dude was under pressure the entire game. The Saints gave him the blues today. This defense gave him the blues. He wasn't sacked that much. I think he was sacked, 3 or 4 times today. But it was the pressure that he had on him, and he just couldn't get anything going. He was 13 for 30 for 161 yards and 2 interceptions today. He had a quarterback rating of 32.8. I felt bad for him. And yes, he was sacked 4 times for a loss of 26 yards. It was brutal. I just felt so bad for him. But at the same time, I was conflicted because I was feeling so good that my defense was actually getting pressure on a quarterback that's has been lacking, to say the least, for the past couple of seasons. For the New Orleans Saints, Derek Carr looked solid. Derek Carr, for as much vitriol that I spit towards him, I gotta swallow crow today. He looked excellent today. I mean, look, he wasn't Drew Brees. Of course, I never asked him to be Drew Brees. I just want him to manage this offense, and he did it. He did an excellent job today. He was 19 for 23, 200 yards, 3 touchdowns. He had a quarterback rating of 142.5. He was excellent today. I mean, he sliced that defense up. I got to give credit where credit's due. If we get this Derek Carr going forward, if this is the guy that we signed up for, I'm all for it. Like I said, I never wanted him to fail. I need him to succeed. And this is what I want. This is what I need. This is what we all need as Saints fans. Derek Carr putting up these type of numbers, orchestrating an offense like this. He looked comfortable. He looked like he fit in it. I can't say much more. I mean, kudos to Derek Carr today. Rushing, the Saints' leading rusher today was Alvin Kamara, 15 carries for 83 yards and a touchdown. Jamal Williams had 11 carries for 38 yards and a touchdown. Taysom Hill had 5 carries for 35 yards. For the Carolina Panthers, and this was another thing that I felt bad about Bryce Young, they didn't help him play calling wise. They only ran the ball 20 times. Now, that's a decent amount, I guess you can say, but not really. Not when you facing a team like this. Not when you're trying to get your young quarterback settled into a game. They did not run the ball at all. And they put him, they being the Carolina Panthers coaching staff, really put him behind the 8 ball. Their leading rusher today was Miles Sanders. He carried the ball 5 times for 22 yards. That's not gonna win you no games, bro. I'm sorry. Their second leading rusher was Chuba Hubbard. He had 6 carries for 14 yards. Bryce Young, he carried the ball 4 times for 12 yards. It was brutal. That was a brutal display from the Carolina Panthers offense. Receiving, our leading receiver today was Rashid Shaheed, 3 catches for 73 yards and a touchdown. Foster Monroe had 4 catches for 43 yards and a touchdown. Alvin Kamara, he caught the ball 5 times for 27 yards. Juwan Johnson, 2 catches for 26 yards and a touchdown. Chris Olave had 2 catches for 11 yards. Mason Tifton, somebody who I've been looking for since he joined the team this past draft. I think he was undrafted rookie. He caught a pass for 6 yards today. I was happy to see him out there. For the Carolina Panthers, their leading receiver was Adam Thielen, 3 catches for 49 yards. Jonathan Mango, 2 catches for 40 yards. Xavier Leggett, 4 catches for 35 yards. Dante Johnson, 2 catches for 19 yards. And David Moore, 1 catch for 14 yards. Over on the defense, Saints defense played phenomenal today. Their leading tackler was Alontae Taylor. He had 6 total tackles. 5 of them were solos. 3 sacks today. 3 sacks. And the leading tackler for the Carolina Panthers was Shaq Thompson. He had 10 total tackles today. Breaking down the team statistics, going with the first downs, the Saints had 22 first downs to the Carolina Panthers 11. Yes. Third down efficiency, Carolina Panthers were 1 for 10 on third down, where the Saints were 7 for 13. Not bad at all. Fourth down efficiency, the Saints didn't go for it on fourth down today, where Carolina went for it 3 times and converted once. Total plays, Saints ran 62 total plays to the Carolina Panthers 55. Total yardage, Saints had 379 total yards to Carolina Panthers 193. Total drives, Saints had 11 total drives to Carolina's 13. Yards per play, Saints 6.1 yards per play. That is phenomenal, people. 6.1 yards per play? My goodness. Carolina was 3.5. Passing yardage, Saints had 199 total passing yardage to the Carolina Panthers 135. Rushing, Saints had 180 yards rushing to the Carolina Panthers 58. Penalties, Saints had 10 penalties. That's the one bugaboo today. They had 10 penalties that mounted up to 95 yards. That's almost the entire football field of penalties today to Carolina 6. Turnovers, Saints had 3 turnovers today. They also turned it over once, but I'll take that balance any day. In the red zone, which is normally a red flag for the Saints, at least it has been for the past couple of seasons, the New Orleans Saints got into the red zone 4 times today and converted 4 times today. Yes, they were 100% in the red zone. That deserves a standing ovation. Carolina was 1 for 2. Time of possession, Saints dominated the time of possession, 36 minutes and 39 seconds to Carolina's 23 minutes and 21 seconds. I am so impressed with this output today. This was such a joy to watch. Will we get this the entire season? I don't know, but I'm going to stick my chest out for the next 7 days. I don't care. This was a joy to watch. Let's go through our MVPs and our LVPs of today. MVP is, of course, the most valuable player of the games. And LVP is the least valuable player. Let me just tell you, there's no least valuable player today. We do have MVPs, and we give an MVP out to each unit of the New Orleans Saints. Offense, defense, and special teams, because I couldn't just pick one. And so I decided to pick one from every unit. Beginning with the offensive MVP of this week is Rashid Shaheed. He had 3 catches for 73 yards and a touchdown. He also had a nice game special teams wise, even though he's not the special teams MVP, but he could have took a punt back. He was very close from taking a punt to the house, but he got caught up behind his blocker. But excellent game from him. He proves every time he touches the field, every time he touches the ball, something electric is going to happen. And this dude is phenomenal. He is such a find for this team. I'm so glad that he's here. I'm so glad. I hope that they give him a proper contract other than that little weak extension that they gave him this offseason. He deserves more than that, but this dude is phenomenal, and he gets a game ball today. Our defensive MVP goes to Alontae Taylor. He had 3 tackles. I mean 3 sacks and 1 pass defense. I thought he was all over the field. He was every time he blitzed, you knew that Bryce Young was going down. Every time I saw him, every time he just shot out like a cannon. He even beat a block. It was a blocker in front of him, and I think it was Miles Sanders, and he just went around like, that man, get out of my way, and just he attacked the quarterback. Phenomenal. He had 1 sack all of last season. He had 3 today. Great job by him. And our special teams MVP is none other than Blake Grupe. Blake Grupe kicked 4 field goals. 3 of them were from 50 plus. That dude, and they weren't even, you could have backed him up 10 yards. he nailed those kicks today. Great job by all 3 gentlemen. They earned the MVP for week 1 against the Carolina Panthers. Let's break down the grades of our New Orleans Saints today. In case you don't know, this is your first time joining us from last season and season prior. Welcome to the show, by the way, if this is your first time. But every game I grade all 3 units of the New Orleans Saints. Well, all 4 actually. The offense, the defense, the special teams, and the coaching staff. I give them letter grades from A to F, round them up, and we give an overall grade of the New Orleans Saints performance for week 1 versus the Carolina Panthers. Let's begin with the offense. Offensively, they get an A. They get an A today. Awesome execution of the game plan that was set forth. Obviously, they had a great game plan going forward, and it was executed perfectly. perfectly balanced. They ran the ball efficiently. They threw the ball crisply. It was just a solid performance by everybody. And more importantly, I cannot end this show. I cannot end this show without giving props to that offensive line. Y'all know that the offensive line has been keeping me up at night, keeping us all up at night through this whole offseason, through the preseason, because the offensive line was shaky at best. I mean, I thought for sure Derek Carr would have been on his back the entire game. I think he was only sacked one time today. That was pretty good. But there were plays where Derek Carr was sitting back there baking a cake. He had all the time in the world. That offensive line looked amazing. And more importantly, yes, I'm going to call him out by name. Like I said about Derek Carr, I'm going to eat crow. I'm going to eat crow today with Trevor Penning. Trevor Penning played out of his mind. This was his best. And I will argue with anybody that disagrees. This was his best NFL game since he was drafted. He played a phenomenal game. In pass protection, in run blocking, he did it all today. He looked like he fit in that right tackle position. Let's see moving forward, but as it stands right now, he looked great. The offense looked great. They get an A today. Defense also gets an A minus. They get a A minus because there were some plays. I hate, and I know hate's a strong word, but I hate prevent defense. And it's really not the defense fault because they don't call it, but I hate prevent defense because if you got your foot on the neck of a team, keep your foot on their neck. I don't want them to get a yard. I don't want them to cross the 50. You know what I'm saying? I mean, rip their heart out. And there were moments, especially at the end of the half, the first half, I was like, man, when they gave up that field goal, I was mad. I ain't gonna lie, I was mad. And we were winning what, 30-0, I think. I think it was 30-0 at that point. And they kicked the field goal, and it was 30-3 at halftime. And I was like, come on, man. I didn't want to give up the 3 because they were so dominant, But other than that, in the second half as well, they gave up that touchdown drive. But it's little nitpicks. But these are things like when you play a more competent team, a better team, a well-coached team, a more talented team, you can't go into prevent. You can't take your foot off the pedal. You have to nail it, man. You have to really put the nail in the coffin against these teams. So that was my only thing. But overall, they get an A minus. I thought they were phenomenal defensively. They put pressure on the quarterback. They had great coverage upfield. Really nothing to really dissect them about overall. Special teams gets an A. The punt coverage was great. The return teams was doing a phenomenal job. The field goal unit was great. We hit all our field goals. Yeah, they get an A. Coaching gets an A. It's been a long time since I gave coaching an A, but they deserved it today. They came in with a game plan. They executed it. Perfectly called game offensively and even defensively. So I'm truly impressed, and I am encouraged going forward, even though I am tempering my expectations. I'm trying not to get too high because I don't want to be let down, but I can't help but be excited by what I saw today. Overall, after rounding it all up, the New Orleans Saints today get a performance grade of an A minus. I thought they played a phenomenal game, and I cannot wait to see this team going forward, especially next week when we play those Cowgirls. I hope that we can bottle this up and bring it on the road to Dallas next week. I want that same energy, man. I need it. I need it in my life because I have people in my life who are Cowboys fans, believe it or not, and I need to gloat. Please, Jesus. I need to give it to them in the worst way. But we did get out of this game with some bumps and bruises. Marshawn Lattimore, we saw him limp off the field. We saw Foster Moreau take a big hit. He kind of went off the field. I don't think anything major per se. I did see Lattimore standing on the sideline towards the end of the game. It looked like he could have went back in the game, but they kind of held him out. But yeah, I hope nothing major happened during the game, injury wise. But for the most part, everybody stayed upright. That's the big fear when you play games this early in the season. Just look at what happened in Green Bay. First game of the season, Jordan Love looked like he's going to be out half of the year, maybe, 3 to 6 weeks with that MCL. So, man, I hate to see that for him, but it happens. It's football. It happens, and especially the first game of the season. I mean, hey, Aaron Rodgers last year, 4 plays in and pop. That was it, And so you don't wish that on nobody, and you definitely don't wish that for the New Orleans Saints. But so far, so good. Just to swing it around the NFC South, of course, the Carolina Panthers lost today. That's a plus because we beat them. And Atlanta, yes, Atlanta, that everybody and their mama have said that, oh, that's the team. This is the team. They're going to dominate the South, and they're going to dominate. And I know it's just week 1, but they lost. They lost today to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Thank you, Steelers. Steeler Nation, love y'all this week. But, yeah, thank y'all for taking care of Atlanta. So that means that Tampa, which they are currently playing at the time of this recording, so we don't know the results of that, of course. But the Saints, as it stands right now, is on top of the division. And more importantly, is more of a game and a half on top of the division because we have that division win. And so we're ahead of the curve in a major way. So that's a blessing. And we are sitting good right now, sitting pretty, moving forward. And so, everybody, how do you feel about this week 1 matchup? Are you encouraged? Are you over the moon excited? Or are you like people I've seen on social media already talking about Super Bowl? I want to tell all of you out there now, relax, calm down, calm down. We have 17 more weeks to go. And so let's not go crazy out here. It's good that we beat the lowly old Carolina Panthers. We were supposed to beat them. And so we're on track. There's nothing out of the norm here. This wasn't an upset victory. We were supposed to beat them. Maybe not by 37 points, but we were supposed to beat them. Let's just temper our expectations. Let's see going forward. Can we get a streak going? Can we beat Dallas? If we beat Dallas, then we can start kind of whispering, okay, this team looks for real. And then the following week, I think we play Philly, huh? Yeah, Philly. Now, we beat Philly, and we are 3-0 at that point, then we can start, climbing on the roofs and yelling who that, Then we can start getting into that mode. But let's not put the carriage in front of the horse yet. But what we can do as a community, as a Who Dat Nation, we can poke our chests out and scream out loud that we dominated week 1. We are currently the team to beat in the league because I don't think any other team played this dominant this week so far. So we have that to cheer about. But I would love to know, what are your thoughts, your feelings, your reactions to this week 1 victory? You can email the show, kbradiopodcast@gmail.com. You can also search for the show on all social media platforms. Just search for the KB Radio Network and leave comments there as well. You can also leave comments on YouTube when you subscribe to the KB Radio Network channel and like this video. Also, don't forget about the 5 stars, the reviews, and sharing this show. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you are currently listening to the Dome Patrol, your podcast for the New Orleans Saints here on the KB Radio Network. Oh, man, football is back, people. Don't you feel it? Don't it feel good? It's going to feel good to go to work tomorrow. It's going to feel good to actually go to work tomorrow. That is a strange statement to make, but I'm making it today. Woo. Well, as always, be on the lookout later this week as we preview the upcoming matchup against the Dallas Cowgirls in Dallas next Sunday. That should be dropping Thursday or Friday, depending on when I'm able to squeeze in that recording. And of course, after that game goes final on Sunday, you can meet me up back here wherever you are currently listening to the Dome Patrol podcast as we recap and react to a Saints victory. Everybody, thank you for joining me for this recap of the Saints victory. Once again, 47-10 over the Carolina Panthers, putting them at a whopping 1-0 on the season thus far. Until we speak again next week as we take on the Dallas Cowboys, you can hear me screaming through the streets, "Who dat?"